Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you all for joining our live webinar, Discover What's New in the November release of the SOLIDWORKS roles. My name is Mariana Saint Germain on the SOLIDWORKS go-to-market team, and I will be your host. Today, we'll review what's new in the SOLIDWORKS roles in the 3D Experience Works portfolio with the 2025 general availability release, R2025 xGA, which is coming out this Saturday, November 16th. As always, we will end with a live Q&A session. And feel free to add your questions to the Q&A tool at any time. And before you ask, yes, we are recording this webinar, and the recording will be available for future reference. Partners will be able to access it in the What's New tab in the SOLIDWORKS brand page in My Offer for CRE, and everyone will be able to access it on YouTube. And now, join me in welcoming our speakers from the SOLIDWORKS portfolio management team. We'll begin with Michael Paris, who will talk about packaging changes.
Thanks,
Michael?
Marina. Yep.
Yeah.
You hear me well?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm gonna kick off this presentation with a few changes that will happen in the R2025 xGA release. And just to start with, I want to share with you the current 3D Experience SolidWorks commercial offering. So as of 2024 xFDO4, we have the three 3D Experience SolidWorks standard, professional, and premium offers, as well as the SolidWorks Cloud offer. And in our 2025 xGA, we are planning to apply two main changes. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so I'll start. Oops, previous. You go too quick. Again.
Hold on. Sorry, we're going in
No
the wrong
worries.
direction.
No worries.
Okay, here we go.
Should be the next, please. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right. So what are these two main packaging changes? So if you pay attention to the right column, so with the SolidWorks Cloud offer, you may see that the 3D Excite role, which was 3D render small, RCX-S-OC, is now replaced by two different diagrams. So RCC, the credit pack, and DPA, so 3D render role. From a user standpoint, it doesn't change, the app that are available to the users. It still delivers the X Studio app through those roles. The main goal was for 3D Excite brand to make portfolio cleanup and also prevent confusion because with the current packaging, when you go from the compass on the 3D Experience Works world, you see and access the portfolio details. And when you see 3D render small, you do not see necessarily the details. And so that Xstudio app is delivered with that so that's why they decided to separate, I would say, the credits back, so the credit hole from the hole that delivers the app Xstudio. So it still delivers, today it delivers 135 credits with RCX-S-OC plus the app Xstudio. It will still deliver the same amount of credits, so with RCC. And of course, you'll still have the DPA role, so which delivers, 3D render role, which delivers Xstudio. So the second main changes, as you can see on the left side for 3D Experience SolidWorks Standard, Professional, and Premium offers, we are enriching these offers with the addition of a Delmia role, so NSR, which is NC Shop Floor Programmer, So as you may know, our base offers today are more design and experience centric than and they do not cover the manufacturing at all. Okay, so the goal is to include an entry-level machining solution like NC shop floor programmer in the base offers to more I would say to penetrate the SolidWorks mainstream market, and also to bring more awareness and growth to the Delmia solutions with the value up offers. It doesn't only apply to 3D Experience SolidWorks commercial offers. If you click next, please. Slide.
Yeah.
Yep. Next slide, please. Yeah. You'll see that for the SolidWorks desktop commercial offers, so what we also know with the name of SolidWorks with cloud services in 2024. So you see that there is no NC shop floor programmer, but if you click, please, Mariana, for next slide. In 2025, we, of course, to be aligned with the 3D Experience SolidWorks offers, we also add NC shop floor programmer in SolidWorks Standard, Professional, and Premium with cloud services. And that's all for the packaging updates coming in 2025 and or 2025 xGA.
Thank you, Mikhail. And next, we are going to turn it over to Priyanka, who, along with a number of portfolio managers, will walk us through what's new with the 3D Experience SolidWorks and SolidWorks with cloud services. Priyanka?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Mariana, can you scroll down a bit? Yes, so I will start with collaboration and cloud data management enhancements for 25x GA release, starting with the easier onboarding for Turkish speakers. So as from FDO2, which is 24x FDO2, we supported Turkish language support for SolidWorks Connected and also Visualize Connected. So in this release, Turkish language will be supported on the 3D Experience platform and also with the SolidWorks Power BI connector. Can you play the video real quick? Yep. So this is where the users can avail the enhancement. All right. We can move on to the next one. Next is Learn Interactively. It's basically talking about quick tours. So quick tours, in a way, promote contextual learning, reducing any support queries on any of the basic concepts or workflows. So in this release, we are adding a few more quick tours on more of the advanced topics like product lifecycle management, configurations, and batch save. Can you play the video just to find just to see where the users can see this option. So when you land the welcome page, it's where they get met with the quick tours. Yep. And now the first two enhancements, which I just spoke about, quick tours and the Turkish language, are applicable for 3D Experience SolidWorks and SolidWorks with cloud services. But the next, which is collaborate effectively, this particular enhancement would be applicable only to the SolidWorks with cloud services, which is collaborative designer for SolidWorks. So basically, this feature is available on SolidWorks Inspection, which is packaged with SolidWorks with cloud services. So the users will use this to save any of their SolidWorks inspection files and any of its deliverables to the 3D Experience platform by using bookmark feature. So directly they can save their files to the platform using the bookmarks capability now. And with that, I will hand it over to Craig to cover the next enhancements. Thank you.
Thanks, Priyanka. Now we're getting into more the CAD portion of the presentation. And just a note, not all of the enhancements are going to be shown today. It's just we have so many that we just don't have enough time. So don't forget, if you want a full account of all of the enhancements that we put in, you want to refer to the What's New guide in the help section of SolidWorks. So you can look there, see all the different enhancements that we put in for 2025 GA and SP0 for SolidWorks Desktop. All right, so first, this is really exciting. One of our, it's a major AI project that we've been working on. We call it the Command Predictor. And if you could play the video. The Command Predictor is really targeted at newer users of SolidWorks to begin with, where it's helping them to figure out what's the next thing I should be doing in SolidWorks. So what it's actually doing is, as they're making their selections, as the user's making selections, it's bringing up the next most predictable command that the user is going to be using. And that's helping them from having to search through all the command menus and everything. Of course, if they can't find what they're looking for, they can always use the search capability to the command search to get to what they want. Okay, next. Now let's get into assemblies. So why don't you play the video on this, Marianne? So we're doing copying components along with mates. So we had that for standard mates, and now we're expanding it to our advanced mates and our mechanical mates. So simply you copy the component along with the mates, and when you place it, it's going to bring the mate along with now. And so now all types of mates, when you copy them, you can bring the mates along. Next. So next is SpeedPack. So of course, people that are familiar with SpeedPack, it's for managing large assemblies. It's a good way. Let's say you think of something like a car. You have an engine inside the car. You're not going to be modifying that engine while you're designing the car. That's different group. So what you want to do is reduce as much as the detail as possible, speed things up when you're looking at your assembly at the top level. Well, before you were only able to make a SpeedPack, a simplified configuration in a lower level assembly. Now you're able to go in to the top level assembly. Actually, why don't you play the video, Mariana? You're able to go into the top level assembly now and create the SpeedPack directly. So this is much more convenient. It saves time. You don't have to create some kind of an extra assembly or something like that. And you can create that SpeedPack whenever you want. And if you notice in this video also, you see the new transparency circle that we actually added a couple of releases ago. So you see you can change the transparency of the circle. That lets you know things that are selectable in the background or aren't selectable. Next. Okay. Continuing on with improving performance on large assemblies. People have asked to be able to, when I bring up large design review being the fastest way to open a large assembly, it's kind of like opening a JPEG, it opens very quickly. They want to be able to do interference checking. So we added a little more capability so that they could quickly bring up the model and do interference checking. Why don't you play the video? So similar to what you have in regular resolve mode, in large design review, you're able to go in and check interferences now in your assembly. So this is effective. Let's say you've got a very large assembly. You want to quickly bring it up, do a quick interference check, make sure before you send it off to manufacturing. Okay, next. All right. Next, again, continuing with large assembly performance. When you go to currently, when you before 25 GA, when you go to update your mass property, say you change a component, which changes the mass properties of that component, and then you go back to your assembly. If you had a very large assembly, it would take a little while for it to recalculate all the mass properties. Play the video, please. So now, if you go in and change one of your components, it's actually able to generate the mass properties much faster because it's retaining the information about the other components that have not been changed in the assembly. So this is very helpful. Think of finding center of gravity, things like that of your assembly, lift points, stuff like that. Okay, next. All right. We've also, why don't you play the video on this, actually, Mariana? So when we're doing display states, we've made it more convenient and easier to adjust your display states. We've put them into a table. The nice thing about this is not only is it easier to get to them, but it's easier to see everything at once in this table. Just a nicer way to manage your display states and control your display states. Next. I really like this one. Assembly visualization has been something that, came out a long time ago, and we really haven't talked about much. Why don't you play the video on this? And what we've done is added the ability to take properties off of the platform and actually view those properties in the assembly visualization property in the tree. So now you're able to add those properties, and you're able to colorize your assembly based on factors that are actually coming from 3D experience. So if you think of things, maybe you want to add cost or something like that, you could say, or maybe what vendor it's out to, which components are due to be delivered next week or something like that. You can go and actually add that information. Next. Okay. And now we're into the parts, sketches, and features area. First, let's talk about sheet metal. And why don't you play the video? So when you're making a sheet metal part, it's in the flat state. To aid in manufacturing, you can add these bend notches that let the people who are doing the brake operations, bending the sheet metal, gives them an idea of where they should be putting the brake, where it should be bending the part. So you put these little notches in. It also helps with the brake operations too as well. So we've added that capability to sheet metal. Next. Okay, I really like this one. Why don't you play the video on this, Mariana? So we've had the ability to do variable fillets for a long time. Now we've added the continuous edge blend as you go around. So you see how it smooths out that edge, right? So a lot of people would try to use the variable fillet, but they found that they didn't get the transitions they wanted between the fillets. So, and they'd have to resort to something like building a blend in order to get the shape they want. So this is going to help a lot of people when they're trying to make plastic parts, trying to smooth those edges. This is a great enhancement for that type of geometry. Next. Okay. Why don't you play the video on this? So we've had D-feature for assemblies for a long time. Now we're doing D-feature for parts. So if you have a very complicated part, you can go in, use the silhouette option for simplification and simplify your part. Now, that may be just the part itself you want to simplify, or maybe this part is going to go into a higher level assembly, and you can simplify it at the part level and then add it to the assembly. Okay, next. When you have dangling dimensions and dangling relations, why don't you play the video on this? You're able to go in and fix those dangling references and dangling dimensions much faster now. Gets you to resolving sketch issues much quicker. Right, and next. Okay, now I'd like to bring in Eric Leafquist to speak a little bit about what we've been doing in routing. Eric?
Thanks, Craig. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to echo what Craig said at the outset, and he pointed out that we have many more enhancements than we have time to cover here today. So if you visit help.solidworks.com, you can see the full list, and routing is in the same situation in that regard. We have many enhancements. One of my favorites is harness board drawing enhancements. Now, harness board drawing capability is included in SOLIDWORKS routing. It's also included in SOLIDWORKS electrical 3D. So in the case of routing, we'll focus on typically the usage with simpler route systems. So if you'd go down, Mariana, to the video, great, and play it, please. we've got many enhancements that yield much cleaner and more complete harness board drawings from the outset. So as we take a 3D route and then we flatten it, and then we take it into the drawing mode, we have many more refined capabilities for tuning the route, tuning the presentation, and then be able to more cleanly present tables, now complete with any properties that you wish, onto the harness board drawing. So exciting enhancements for the harness related engineers in the group. Next, I think it's back to you, Craig.
Back to me. Yeah. So Eric, thanks a lot. Now I just want to emphasize, over the last, Eric, 4 or 5 releases, we've added tons of enhancements for routing to help out on electrical 3D. So, if you haven't really been looking at what we've been doing in routing, kind of look back at the last few releases and see all the enhancements we've been putting into the product.
Great point.
Yep.
Thanks, Craig.
Yep. So next, let's look at drawings. So let's start with what we're doing with 2D drawings. We're adding the ability, and you can play the video. So in the cut list, so when you have your BOM and you have your integrated cut list inside your BOM, a lot of people want to be able to see the length of the individual members of the cut list. So now you're able to go in and override the BOM quantity column, and you're able to say, hey, I want to show me the length of the different members. So as you see up above, you have for the components that are regular components, you have the quantity, but down below you actually have the lengths of the individual cut list members. Okay, next. Okay, so for MBD, 3D dimensioning and tolerancing, a fantastic, finally, kind of enhancement. From the day, I think, that we launched Dim Expert, which is what you use to create 3D dimensions and tolerances. Our customer, and you can play the video on this too, Mariana. Our customers have actually been asking for the ability to reuse their design dimensions, the ones they defined during sketching, and also feature dimensions, the ones that, give the distance of an extrusion. They want to be able to reuse those dimensions for Dim Expert dimensions. So now they have the ability to do that. So this is for MBD and for Dim Expert, this is a fantastic enhancement. Next. Okay, and then now we want to turn it over to Hena Ichi, and he's going to talk a little bit about what's going on with SolidWorks Visualize.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. There are some great new enhancements in Visualize that I want to share with you. We'll start with the fast render mode. The new fast render mode with the Stellar Render engine provides real-time interactive rendering for both the Visualize viewport and offline renders. It uses the Vulkan ray tracing API and deep learning technology to achieve real-time ray tracing performance, making it ideal for the new generation video cards and also high resolution displays. Mariana, will you play the video here? So here we can show a little bit of the difference once we turn on. As you are familiar, with Accurate mode, as we move a model around, we have some noise, and that gets cleared up eventually through more passes. But in the fast mode, we can see that noise is removed. So one of the ways that we achieve this is we quickly and accurately upscale lower resolution images into higher resolution outputs by rendering fewer pixels and then leveraging AI to scale up. Fast mode also uses AI to denoise renderings faster. So the next enhancement that I want to talk about is the ability to render files with the SolidWorks Visualize API. This is something that with the retirement of PhotoView 360, we wanted to ensure that our customers had access to this. So using the SolidWorks Visualize API, you can now create custom functionality for photorealistic renderings of SolidWorks models. You can play the video here so we can see that in action. The API through the SolidWorks Visualize add-in allows you to create the renderings or visualize project files without having to leave SOLIDWORKS. So we can see that we can quickly pull that up and we can add that to a presentation for a design review. Then moving on to the next enhancement. This next enhancement is the ability to fade the ground. And I think we can already start playing the video so we can show it as we're going because it's easier to explain that way. So by enabling the faded ground option under the ground shadow catcher, you can hide the ground without removing the lighting implications that the ground has on the model itself. So we can see that the shadows are gone here, and we'll show that again. And it's easier to create renderings that can be used for a variety of different applications. So the model still retains the lighting effects if reflected off the ground, but the ground itself can be removed. And this really facilitates some post-processing time that we usually put onto it. And that concludes the visualize enhancements for this release. And we'll pass that back to you, Craig. You are muted, Craig.
There we go. Thanks, Hannah. So just a note on that. So, you know, we don't have PhotoView 360 anymore. So any gaps that we had, we're closing those gaps between SolidWorks Visualize and the old PhotoView 360. Remember, huge advantage to SolidWorks Visualize is the speed of rendering, right? And the quality of the rendering. So a couple of releases ago, when I say that, I mean a couple of releases, a few FDs or a few SPs ago, we improved SolidWorks Visualize dramatically with the Stellar engine, and now we continue to add more functionality, improving the user experience for SolidWorks Visualize. So that's always been the thing. We're able to now go and put enhancements in that people have always wanted for improving our rendering capabilities. So that was one of the objectives of really making SolidWorks Visualize being our main go-to for doing renderings. Okay, next. So as far as administration, licensing, things like that, we've been adding the capability to allow users to use their existing capabilities that they have for SolidWorks. So for instance, in this round, SolidWorks CAM, SolidWorks Inspection, and SolidWorks MBD. They can use that with 3D Experience. Okay, now one note on SolidWorks MBD is the fact that SolidWorks MBD is now very easy to add in as well. It adds in just like any other add-in. You just click on it and it will come in. And next, I think we're going to, at this point, we're going to move on to Stephen to talk about simulation enhancements.
Thank you, Craig. As many of you know, for many years, SolidWorks Premium and 3D Experience Premium has included simulation. If you'd play the video now, Mariana. The first enhancement I want to talk about is the enhancement we've done to the pin connector. The pin connector is a really nice way to include the effects of a fastener without actually having to include that fastener in the simulation, speeding up the solve time. With this new enhancement, the accuracy has been improved by distributing the load more accurately, so you get a really strong result without spending too much time actually meshing parts that aren't important to you. Just scroll down, please. Play this video. When dealing with a large model, sometimes it can be difficult to actually select all the components you want. And so we've now got this nice way of actually removing things that you don't want to have. So you select the parts you want to include and then remove all the other extraneous parts. This cleans up the UI, making it easier to apply loads, boundary conditions, materials, and it's especially useful when dealing with results. You can then decide whether you want to include results with or without external components. Scroll down, please. Play the video. So when we're dealing with assemblies, always a challenge is to connect parts that aren't actually connected. This happens a lot with sheet metal. In this instance here, we have a solid part and a sheet metal part. And when you mesh them, they will actually create a gap between the mid-surface of the sheet metal and the solid surface of the solid part. And we can actually join those together with a bonded connection. So we've actually enhanced the way that the forces are transferred from one part to the other. Again, more accurate solution and no downside on the runtime. Scroll down, please, and play this video. Another area we've enhanced connections and contacts is with improved surface-to-surface bonding. In this instance here, we have a shaft that's going to go into a bearing that would be done normally by a push fit or a small clearance fit. And in this case, we want to ensure that the load transfer from one component to the other is enhanced. Again, we can have a fine mesh on one part, a coarse mesh on the other, and still transfer the loads accurately from one to the other. Scroll down, please. And last but not least, we're doing some mesh improvements. So when you have yes, please play the video. When you have an assembly where you have many components that are the same, what you want to be able to do is to mesh parts quickly and then maybe reuse that mesh in lots of other places. So here we have lots of pins. We're going to use it, mesh it once, use it in other locations. And in this instance, even though it's not a particularly large assembly, we see a 15% reduction in the meshing time. That's seen in much bigger models. So it's a great way to speed up the analysis time. Let's scroll down. I think that is the end of the simulation section. Thank you, Mariana.
Thank you, Stephen, Craig, and Hannah, and Eric, and Priyanka for this, for walking us through the exciting updates to 3D Experience SolidWorks and SolidWorks with Cloud Services. Next up is Eric Liefquist, who will share what's exciting and new for Electrical Schematic Designer. Eric.
Thanks, Mariana. So far we've talked lots about mechanical. Well, the complementary discipline of electrical has certainly been enhanced significantly in 25 GA. And we've done a number of things in different areas. I've picked 3 here to talk about today. So if you'd scroll down a little more, Mariana. So as electrical schematic designer users create electrical designs or bring them over from the desktop electrical tools, yes, please play. They can save their electrical project to the 3D Experience platform. And they've been able to do that for quite a while, of course. But now we're able to store the product structure information along with the project and then be able to view it graphically with the tools on the platform. So view things graphically or look at things more tabular form with the different apps is a new enhancement here that's significant in the rollout to the platform. Okay, scroll down, please. Now, in terms of electrical design, what electrical engineers are doing every day is dealing with terminals, terminal strips, and connections between wires and components. So please play. An important capability is to be able to logically break the connections apart, things like terminal strips. And we've added more capability to do that in 25. And so users that have asked for this capability, I believe, will be very happy to see this and excited to get into it. So being able to create in a more flexible fashion is something the electrical engineers definitely need every day. Now, if you scroll down to the next item, please. Electrical design is based significantly on content. and we have content available, but invariably people want to bring in their own content or legacy content. So we provided a new customizable Excel template-based approach to this. So please play. And using this capability, we can bring in information to add to an existing library, or we can create new libraries. And here, one of the points of significance is the information needed for something like a connector is different than for a terminal strip, and hence the single template is customizable to support detailed or just basic information. So this information resident in Excel is easily imported and then complements existing libraries. So significant improvements in Electrical Schematic Designer, our electrical tool for logical design on the platform. Thanks, Mariana.
Thank you, Eric. And next up is updates to SolidWorks Cloud. We're going to start with Dan McGinn. Dan?
Great. Hi, thanks, Mariana. Yep, I'm going to start with the enhancements in SolidWorks Cloud, and I'm going to start with covering the general systems enhancements as well as enhancements specific to parts and assembly design. So first of all, we have a new feature called the command predictor. And similar to the new feature that's in 3D Experience SolidWorks, this is an AI-powered toolbar that shows the next predicted commands that the user is most likely to use. So we can launch into the demo video here, Mariana. This command is accessible via the action bar, and it will use information like the last several activated commands to speculate about what the user is most likely to use. So as we can see, as we're going into Sketch, we have a lot of Sketch options, but it also will present feature options, assembly options, and all different types of commands. If you don't find the command that you're looking for specifically, you also have the command search available right there from the end of the command predictor toolbar. So that is our first enhancement, and we can move on to the next one. I put the long form video of this enhancement here, so you can go back and view that at your leisure. Next, we have an enhancement for fixing missing references. So this is actually a 3-part enhancement. We can go ahead and play the video. First, if you are activating a feature in the tree that has a warning or an error, historically it's difficult to tell which of these selections in that feature has been causing the error. So we've added a new icon, as you can see, to the reference that's causing the error, the missing reference icon. And then there's a flag toolbar on the reference in the graphics area, which allows you to easily select to either replace or delete that reference. Also, when you select the reference in the actual feature dialog, we show a highlighting of where the reference's last known location was. So we call that ghost highlighting. You can see that in the screenshot for the video. The missing reference is a square, so we show that ghost highlighting in the graphics area. We can go on to the next one. The next enhancement is the ability to open apps in a separate browser tab in full screen mode. So we can play the enhancement video for this. Now, when you launch a new session of an X app, or any other app for that matter, via the compass menu or using the open with command, we'll now spawn a new session in a new separate browser tab. So this is great for working in multi-window, or if you want to work on a separate subassembly, separate from the complete assembly, or as I showed in that demo video, you can also use it to create a drawing from assembly or create drawing from part, where I selected a subassembly and then I used the open with command to open that subassembly in X drawing. I do want to note about that before we go on, that that's not going to be the default behavior in 25 xGA. So if you want to enable this behavior, you just have to do so from the preferences, from the tools tab in the preferences dialog, the platform preferences. That's written in the description for that one. Okay, next, we've improved the processing bar so that it's more discrete and less intrusive. Previously, we had a processing dialog where the processing dialog would come up right in the middle of your screen, and it would block you from navigating around your model. That actually isn't necessary because all of our computation is happening on the server side, whereas the rendering of the graphics area is happening on the client's machine. So we now permit you to navigate around your model, which is all a client-side interaction, while processing is happening on the back end. So we can show the demo video to show how this is done. So in this demo video, as I'm activating a feature, there's some processing which is taking place on the server, but that processing dialog is very discrete, and I'm still able to navigate around the model and get myself into position to edit that feature. So this will just help you maintain your design momentum as you go forward, and there are less instances where you're blocked out from continuing to edit your model. All right, we can go on to the next one. Next, we have an enhancement for hide show management. So first of all, we've added a new panel to the design manager that you can toggle on and off to show icons for whether components or features are hidden or shown. And that panel is actually dual purpose because in addition to being able to just easily see which components are hidden and shown, you can also toggle the visibility state of those components, or I should say nodes in the tree, because it works for any node, whether it's a component, a feature, or even now a 3D shape. You can also hide and show. So let's show that. That's a quick demo video. We could show that. Yep, so we just go in, toggle on the hide show column, and then you can use that to modify the visibility of items in the design manager. Great. And we can go on to the next one. Okay, we've also continued to improve our bookmark integration. As we know, bookmarks are essential for managing your data on the platform. They're essentially folders, but more powerful. So it's important to be able to store your physical products in bookmarks. We've added the option to add a bookmark to a physical product to the last three commands that was missing this capability. So that is the save as command, the insert new, and create new assembly commands. And we can play the demo video for this one. So now that option is available from all of those dialogues, and I'm showing an example here using save as. So you can easily create a new bookmark and add your physical product to that bookmark as you create it. So it's all done, all perfectly integrated right into the XDesign app. We can go on to the next one. Okay, we've done an enhancement also for component mating. And this is, I think, one of my favorite enhancements from this release, because previously you would have to resolve components in order to begin the mating process. But now you can begin the mating process right away without having to do the manual resolve. If you just select two faces on separate components or subassemblies, you'll be presented with the toolbar for adding a mate with all of the possible mate selections available. So if you add to cylindrical faces, you'll get concentric. If you add to planar faces, coincident, and so forth. So those different mate options that are available is calculated. And then when you select one, the mate will be there. The two components will automatically be resolved in the background, and then the mate will be added. So we can show the demo video for this one. It's really quite slick. And again, this is one which doesn't take you out of the moment as you're designing. It doesn't throw an error in your face. It just handles things in the background for you automatically. So really slick. Here's an example with adding it to two cylindrical faces and now two planar faces. Great. And we can go on to the next one. Okay, lastly, we have an enhancement which should help with error management. We've added a new rebuild option. So now you have the option to select to stop update on first error. So as a assembly or a part is being rebuilt, it will stop when it reaches the first error. And typically, if you resolve that error, it should resolve downstream errors. So this is basically just provides a better way to handle your error management. And then, of course, if you prefer not to stop on first error, you can use the full rebuild method. And both of those options are available from the preferences dialog, which we can show in this demo video. So the preferences is available from the action bar, from the standard tab, and then you now have the option to pick between these two rebuild methods, whichever you prefer for your error management approach. All right. And then next, I will hand it over to our X-Shape specialist, Henna.
Right,
She's going to
thanks,
cover
Dan.
our freeform modeling. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to share with you all the 2025 GA enhancements for X-Shape. So we'll start with the soft selection. We have made two enhancements to the soft selection tool within X-Shape. The enhanced options in the soft selection feature enable you to add draft to subdivision models. So let's play the video, Mariana, and I'll kind of talk through it. The first enhancement that we made is the reverse influence option. And so we see here we select that edge, and then once we reverse influence, it actually reverses the field of influence so that it has most impact away from the selected areas. The robot is also moved to the area of highest impact. So the other thing that I'll show here, and we can start this video over, Mariana, if you can just restart it. Sorry. Yeah. The other thing that I'll show is the target influence option. So once again, it's showing how the reverse influence works. And then once I want to focus in on a specific area and I want only that area to be impacted, I can select the target influence option. And that will allow me to only manipulate and have an impact in that region. So those are the two enhancements for soft selection, and they will allow you to ensure your geometry meets the draft requirements that you have. So let's continue moving down here. The next one is, you can play the video, Mariana, is the crease vertex option. So in the past, we had the ability to crease edges, but now we have extended that capability to vertices as well. And so we give you a little bit more power, and we can see that here. And that was a request that we've had from a few people. So thank you for those requests. So moving on to the next section, we also have added slice control for adding when inserting rotational primitives. You can play the video, Mariana. So we have added the slice button in the primitive dialog box that enables both the angle manipulator on the robot and also the ability to input a number value as we're showing here. Yeah, so we want 180 degrees and then we can manipulate that. This enhancement will give you more intuitive experience when creating primitives like cones or cylinders. So that concludes the X-Shape enhancements for this release. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
All right, thank you, Hannah. So next we have drawings and MBD.
Yep, I'll be going through that.
And we'll have Chris. Hi, Chris.
Yes, hello. So for drawings and MBD, we have a couple enhancements for you this release. The first enhancement, probably the biggest one of this release, is the ability to hide components within an assembly view. So we can play the video here, Mariana. So now when you create any sort of 3D or 2D view, you have the ability here to exclude components. So you can select whatever you'd like. And this is extremely useful whenever you're documenting any assembly that has internal components. In most cases, you always have some sort of cover or something that is interfering or blocking your ability to correctly define your assembly with balloons and notes like such that you see in the video there. So this really allows you to provide that more accurate detail and be able to communicate your drawing more accurately. It's also nice because you can now do multi-state views, meaning that you can have two views on a sheet of your assembly, one with components hidden and another view without those components hidden, so you can ensure that you're actually defining and adding balloons to all the correct pieces of your assembly. The next enhancement that we have here is minor, but we've improved our section view capabilities. So we could just play the video. What we've added within section is cross hatching. So by default, when you create a section view, you will get automatic hatching. But within the command itself there is some settings to actually control that hatching, where you can customize the spacing and the angle of your crosshatch. And of course, hatching is going to make the section view clarity a lot better. You're going to be able to understand exactly where that section plane is cutting. And as well, when you have section views now, you do get some contour selection. So you have much better control and ability to select and dimension to the edges of your section view as well. So that was also kind of an improvement under the hood there with section views. And the last enhancement that we have was on the data management side. So we've added basically a replace component or a replace revision option directly within xDrawing. And this is extremely useful because right now you do not have the link between your annotation set and your physical product. So if you revise your annotation set today from A to B, your physical product would still remain at A. And what this allows you to do is basically go into your revision B, and you can play the video, go into revision B of your annotation set and replace the physical product revision, so that you're ensuring both your physical product and your drawing are always in sync in terms of revisions. So this is allowing you to kind of do a swap of revisions and making sure that it is accurate. So you can see there, it's very similar to how you would replace component within an assembly today, but you're essentially replacing a revision on your drawing. And this is very useful, like I said, to just make sure everything's in sync and keeping your revisions all aligned. And that's it for xDrawing.
Well, thank you, Chris and Hannah and Dan, for sharing the updates to SolidWorks Cloud. Next up, we'll hear from Mikhail, who will talk about 3D Motion Creator. Mikhail?
All right. Yep. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Mariana. All right. So I'll try to be quick and clear. So when it comes to 3D Motion Creator enhancements, so I'll start with the first one, which is an enhancement which has been expected by our users for a while. Mechanical state set. So can you just please scroll down to the first? Thank you, Mariana. All right. So this new capability is enabling our users to store the positions of their mechanisms. So through the new button which has been added to kinematics player, create state set. All right. So once those states or positions are stored, they can be easily applied to recover the position of a mechanism anytime the user wants. Thanks. Next, please. The next is also a very useful enhancement, which we've done on interference probe. Now with the report that can be users can get from the interference results, the table for collision report is created. The detailed collision report table is created for the users, so which allows them from this table to easily identify the colliding objects by making non-colliding objects, as you can see in the video, transparent at a collision time. So it lists all the collisions at a given time, and by selecting each and every collision reported in the table, you can easily identify from the 3D view the colliding objects. Next, please. So this one is also very important. So we, with this enhancement, I would say, give more options to our users to do their motion setup, thanks to I would say the options that we give through the body mass properties of the reference products. So the users can now easily control the source of mass properties, okay, from the reference product and attached products, and access the 4 options that I'm gonna detail. The first is whether they want to or not consider all the products with the mass, okay, from the reference product and from the attached product. So that's the first option. You can consider the mass of all the products that have a mass. Second option is you can only reference, so select only reference products, which would ignore the mass of the attached product and only consider the mass of the reference product. The third option is the other way around. So it would consider only the mass of the attached product, of course, which have a mass, and neglect, I would say, the mass of the reference product. And last but not least, the fourth option is to override the mass property values by entering the mass properties manually. The last enhancement is also something that we've been expecting for a while, damper. So we are introducing a new machine element, which is called damper, which provides a linear damping force proportional to absolute velocity. And now our users have more flexibility into setting their motion steady. It is accompanied by we have bushing. So now we have the damper motion element that can be also applied into mechanisms. And that's it for 3D Motion Creator.
Thank you, Mikel. And we will wrap up with Diego, who is going to share what's new in 3D Experience Draft Site. Diego?
Yes, thank you, Mariana. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining us for this GA release. Today, I will be covering what's new in 3D Experience Draft Site Professional, Premium, and Mechanical. The first 4 targets that I'll be covering and highlighting of the features in 2025 GA will be the drafting tool enhancement. Mariana, you can go ahead and click play. Excellent. So working with different units of measurement occurs frequently in designing and editing 2D drawings. In this release, we have included the DWG unit command. This command allows the ability to change the unit of measurement, which provides flexibility and adaptability to various engineering and design standards. So very powerful tool that we have. We can go into the next, Mariana. In this enhancement, go ahead and click play, Mariana. Thank you. Yes, so in this enhancement, the block structure palette allows large and intricate design scenarios and drawings and models that are somewhat difficult to manage and visually isolate key entities, blocks, or specific areas. With this palette, it provides users a top-level representation, access to nest blocks, and enables them to create and manage complex designs efficiently with this new enhancement. All right, going into the next one. And you can click play, Mariana. Thank you. Excellent. So in the flat command enhancement, when users generate 2D views from complex 3D entities, the flat command provides a straightforward process to create 2D representations from 3D entities, simplifying the objective to review visual details of the 2D geometry, which streamlines the task easier than before, prior to this enhancement. Excellent. All right. And then we go into the second category here of user interface enhancements. Mariana, you can go ahead and click. Thank you. All right, excellent. So the dimension style dialog has been previously available. However, in this new interface, the managing of the dimension style window was previously concentrated and compact vertically. In this new dialog window. It's more of an intuitive interface, giving you the user less time to navigate and boost productivity and easing the the user experience to allow them to work more efficiently in this dialog. Excellent. And we can head into the next category, Mariana. So the enhancements don't stop here. I'm excited about these next two enhancements. They are essential components to the export and import commands that we'll be offering. And Mariana, you can go ahead and click the first one. Excellent. So these are breakthrough enhancements that we're very proud of to share. The first one here is the DGN export. So sharing files from DraftSite now are easier than before. DGN export allows the user the capability to share the design to a wider range of audience, regardless of their preferred CAD software. So now we also have the ability to import and now have the power to also collaborate by exporting DWGs into DGN files. All right, and then we can go to the second one, Mariana, and you can hit play for me, please. Excellent. So here we're showcasing the ability from starting from a 3D CAD software, SolidWorks, and import step files, which are a different format of 3D CAD. So now we have the ability to import these files, allowing a seamless integration between 3D models to 2D and expanding our workflows more than before. So really excited about this one as well. Okay. And now closing, we'll hit the final category and highlight two enhancements on the table customization category. Mariana, you can hit play. Excellent. Okay, so the first enhancement here is the table break enhancement. So large tables are often a correspondent of sharing drawings or creating drawings, and they do expose a limitation. So here now we've addressed that need and given the users the ability to use the table break command to organize and allow to arrange their presentations of the tables more clearly and efficiently. And now we go into the last enhancement. Mariana, you can click play. Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay, so wrapping up here, we have this final enhancement. This is also in the table command. This is an autofill command. So manually populating large tables can be very time consuming and is prone to error. So now we've eliminated that factor with giving the user the ability to quickly autofill data, extending their data patterns and saving them time and effort. So excited about this. And as we scroll down, Mariana, that concludes the overall review for this release of 2025 features for DraftSite. I'll give it back to you for any closing announcements or addressing any questions that anyone may have. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Diego. This was quite information-packed session. We apologize for running a few minutes after the hour. And I see only one question, which has already been addressed. Mikhail,
Yep.
would you like to go over the question?
Sure. All right. So thanks, Craig, Giovanni, to raising this question. So it was asking about the difference between package and offers. And actually, this is where I found out that there was a mistake in the second slide. If you want to go back quickly to the packaging question, so packaging slides. Yep. So you'll see in the second slide actually the NSR-OC role, so NC shop floor programmer, is added into the packages SW1, 2, and 3. So there is a mistake here, and thanks again for raising the question. So yes, there is a difference between a package and an offer. First, an offer can be I would say changed anytime, can be updated anytime. A package is a R&D item which follows carefully the R&D schedule. So changes in a package, when possible, can only happen on major releases. And so yes, in this line here, I'll send an update to Mariana to update the wiki. Please read it as NS are being included in the packages SW1, 2, and 3.
Yes, thank you, Mikhail, and thank you, Craig, for the question. We will update, and you will partners will have access to the What's New wiki later today. This wiki is already published on the partners platform, and then customers will have access to the What's New wiki on the customer platform in a couple of days. So we thank you for everyone for your attention and for joining us today. And we hope this was informational and helpful to you. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. And with that, we will conclude and wish you a great rest of day or evening and say goodbye to everyone.